Hi, everybody. My name is Phineas Anderson. My wife, Mitchell Anderson, is behind me. Starting on February 7th, we organized the first Tesla protest in the nation with 54 people. We've now organized 6 of those. We're unaffiliated. We're not attached to any party or organization. We're just doing it ourselves. The last one we had last Friday, we went from 54 to 1,916 protesters at Oracle and at River. So I hope, as we were the first to do this in the nation, we hope that you as a city council will be the first in the nation to pass this proclamation. No executive overreach, supporting the United States Constitution, defending our democracy is the subtitle of this proclamation. Whereas the Pima County Board of Supervisors of Tucson, Arizona, believes nothing is more sacred to our democracy than the U.S. Constitution. Whereas the Pima County Board of Supervisors feels an essential part of the Constitution are the first 3 articles establishing the 3, quote, separate but equal branches of the United States government. Whereas the Pima County Board of Supervisors has witnessed the consolidation of power in the executive branch by the current president through the following actions: the revocation of birthright citizenship, freezing of federal spending approved by Congress, shuttering of federal agencies, generally demonstrating a pattern of usurping the duties of the legislative branch, violating the process of civil service protections for federal employees and other persons, detaining and deporting people based on political views, disobeying judicial mandates, politicizing law enforcement and the military, chilling debate by threatening legislators not loyal to him, and generally expressing contempt for the separation of powers, freedom of speech, and the rule of all. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Pima County Board of Supervisors believe that those elected to office have a duty to protect the Constitution and must act with urgency. So thereby be resolved that the Pima County Board of Supervisors strongly urges the United States Congressional Delegation of the State of Arizona to take the lead in pressing their colleagues to stand up and reclaim their constitutional duty to be equal partners in the running of the United States government and work hand in hand with the judicial branch to see that the Constitution is not trespassed upon by the executive branch. Open that to your consideration for the next hearing. Hi, everyone. As you probably know, there are a number of people in Pima County that have been depressed and really distraught about what's going on in our country. So my wife, Mitchell, over here, and I try to provide an outlet by organizing protests. We organized all 8 Tesla protests, which at the time were the biggest in the nation. This past Saturday, we organized the No Kings mobile protest. We had over 5,000 vehicles, and if you were to line them up on a single pathway, they would have extended 18 miles. We had between 12 and 15,000 people participating, and there were over 3,000 standing in 108-degree heat because of their concern with signs. Imagine their commitment. And a number of them had asked, okay, we're committed, we're doing something. What are our city council and what are our board of supervisors doing about this? So I found it interesting. I just came across this, that during the Revolutionary period, local communities passed proclamations expressing their disapproval with King George III. So to try to save you time, 10 weeks ago, I stood before you and I stated a proclamation that I had created that related to this very topic about what some of us feel is a king coming forth. And so Matt Hines, who wasn't here at the time and is not here now, had stated that he was in support of this and he would try to do something about it. It evidently passed legal review. April 15th, it was supposed to come forward. For some reason, it didn't. And now I'm coming before you to ask if one of you might be able to bring it forward and submit it to the council to try to get it passed. So I have copies for each of you here. I'll put on the table with your name at the top so you can review what it actually says. And my information is at the bottom as to how to contact me. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson.
I, as Supervisor Scott, my name is Phineas Anderson. My brain in its stage of life has reached a point where it needs a lot of help. So I'm going to read from my notes. This is my third time speaking to you since April 1st, when I presented my proclamation to you. I asked you to consider and approve my proclamation, which really represents many, many Pima County residents, about Trump's executive overreach. It has been emailed to you, and I personally handed each of you that proclamation earlier this summer. I think that most of us are on the same page. Yet, what have you done to date, and I don't know what it might be, to confront President Trump in his efforts to move us from a democracy to an autocracy? Even an action as simple as passing the proclamation, which is now before city councils and county boards in 20 states. There are thousands of Pima County residents who have protested against Trump's overreach. Can you show some moral support by approving this proclamation? Again, I ask you to consider to pass this executive overreach, and I would hope you would do it by your next meeting. On a separate note, due to public and elected officials' resistance, President Trump did not go to Chicago. Instead, he's going to Memphis, Tennessee, a town like Tucson, Arizona. We very much could be next. Are you preparing to resist, to defend our city, and to put up a fight? It's going to take some planning, and I assure you it's going to come. And we in the public, as you know, I've organized the Tesla protests and No Kings and all the rest of them. There's going to be another big protest coming soon. So you'll hear more about it, but it's going to be along these lines about defending Tucson, and we need your help. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson. And I know that there are a lot of people in the audience who are interested in that. So if you wanted to move approval of agenda item number 15, I would second that.
Yes, we'd like to move item number 15, which is resolution number 2025-52, opposing executive overreach, supporting the U.S. Constitution, and defending our democracy.
Now second. Supervisor.
So I wanted to, this is a resolution. I wanted to very quickly read the resolution. This is the resolution 2025-52 of the Pima County Board of Supervisors opposing executive overreach, supporting the U.S. Constitution, and defending our democracy. And pardon my speed, we are late on time. Whereas the Pima County Board of Supervisors maintains that the U.S. Constitution is the basis for our democratic republic and our civil society. Whereas the first three articles of the U.S. Constitution establish three separate but equal branches of the U.S. government. Whereas the Pima County Board of Supervisors has witnessed the consolidation of power in the executive branch by executive orders and actions such as but not limited to the revocation of birthright citizenship, the freezing of federal spending approved by Congress, shuttering of federal agencies, demonstrating a pattern of usurping the duties of the legislative branch, violating due process of persons in the United States, infringing upon civil service protections for federal employees, threatening deportation and or prosecution based on political views, ignoring or disobeying judicial mandates, politicizing law enforcement and the military, and generally expressing contempt for the separation of powers, freedom of speech, and equal justice under the law. Whereas the Attorney General's office has filed 28 federal action lawsuits that include protecting the rule of law and the U.S. Constitution on behalf of Arizonans, with Pima County joining 2 additional lawsuits. Whereas each member of the Pima County Board of Supervisors swears an oath to support the Constitution of the United States and thus has a duty to protect and defend the U.S. Constitution and the rights of residents within their jurisdiction that are being harmed by violations of the U.S. Constitution. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Pima County Board of Supervisors strongly urges the United States congressional delegation of the state of Arizona to take the lead in pressing their colleagues to stand up and reclaim their constitutional duty to be an equal partner in the administration of the U.S. government, to work hand in hand with the judicial branch to ensure that the U.S. Constitution is not violated by the executive branch, and to ensure that illegal or unconstitutional actions that have occurred are overturned. Passed and adopted, hopefully today. This resolution, I first want to thank Phineas Anderson, his wife, and others in the community who have been pulling this together, pushing us to step up and move this forward. Mr. Anderson and his wife started the Take Down Tesla protests, and as a great example of executive overreach, President Trump has declared anyone who protests at Tesla sites is a domestic terrorist. Versions of this resolution have been considered in 84 jurisdictions in 22 states. So I really appreciate the ongoing resistance our community continues to show in standing up for the integrity of our Constitution and the integrity of our country. So with that, I would move the item.
Well, we already did that.
Oh.
We moved
Well,
and
thank
seconded
you.
it, but thank you. Any other questions or comments from my colleagues? Okay. All right. All those in favor of adopting the resolution indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Opposed?
Item passes 4-1 with Supervisor Christie opposed.